Director ILO, Office of the South Pacific, representatives of the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation, PS employment, members of the media, and friends. Before I move to today's press conference proper, let me take this opportunity to wish all a belated Mother's Day. In particular, to those hard-working mothers in our workforce whose contribution either in the formal or in the informal sector is most highly valued. I hope that everyone found time for some happiness and quality family time during Mother's Day, especially during this time of crisis. A warm welcome to you all as we gather here this morning to release the details on an important initiative to have enumerators who will undertake a survey of COVID-19 in workplaces. As some of you may know, this past week, we have trained 140 enumerators to undertake this survey. At the outset, let me thank our survey partners, the ILO, for their guidance and support in this important exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exercise geared to collect data and information so we can make informed decisions in our workplaces and employment relations during this COVID-19 pandemic. It will also provide a solid foundation to continue with innovative solutions as we work our way out of this pandemic. Despite the difficult times, it is important to note that Fiji has responded in a timely fashion to minimize the health impact of this pandemic. Thankfully, we have had no deaths and we have had no new cases over the 3 weeks now. However, we are still caught in the global economic lockdown that is affecting our main economic earner in the tourism industry. And we must employ a plan of action to stay strong and put in place mechanisms that we have our various sectors ready to make a return once the global economic machinery begins to move once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this national survey of the impact of COVID-19 will better place us to do so. In addition, this data collection will enable us to plan for means to overcome some of the short-term effects of the economic downturn, including planning for government and international programs towards overcoming some of these impacts. While we are progressing well in these areas, there are also some pressing concerns in employment relations that I must continue to address. Workplaces are the engine room of any economy. Having a strong workplace relation is the best protection for any economy. During these difficult times, it is important to think ahead and plan. As with all difficult times, this COVID-19 pandemic too shall come to pass. This is not the time for point scoring or a situation to be taken advantage of when it comes to the workplace. There is a value that we all place on our workplace, be it employer, employee, government, trade unions, or bodies like ILO. And that value is what it brings to us, ladies and gentlemen, as a worker, as a commercial concern, as government, and to our beloved Fiji as a whole. And I take this opportunity to thank the many Fijian employers and business concerns who have taken a humane and pro-employee stance during this COVID-19 crisis. I'm sure that your goodwill and acts of support will be appreciated by your employees and customers once we are out of this crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important that we continue to abide by the legislation, and in this case, the Employment Relations Act and other relevant policies and procedures in place. This is not a time to take advantage of the situation and let off workers or their rights. Unfortunately, my ministry had to deal with various cases of this happening. Let us not forget that we exist as a unified body, as a nation, and that means that relations between employers and employees need to be sustained during good times and bad times. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge those concerned to have a good long look at what they are attempting to do and realize that any short-term gains will ultimately lead to a long-term losses. We have survived natural disasters like Fijian Minister, global recessions and economic downturns due to various factors. As we continue to fight a pandemic with economic effects that we may never have seen before, this is the time to stand up and be counted as a Fijian who cares. Ladies and gentlemen, once again my plea is for the employers to abide by their obligation and to comply with all the provisions of the Employment Relations Act. The COVID-19 pandemic in no way or form changes any of these provisions and your obligations to the law and your employees. My ministry will continue to ensure compliance and to make sure that any breaches are addressed under the law. Ladies and gentlemen, as I noted earlier on, we had the training of the enumerators for the workplace survey on the impact of COVID-19 in our workplaces this past week. I know everyone here is aware of the extraordinary nature and impact of the COVID-19 crisis. It has not only brought in a never before seen form of a virus that has immobilized the cause of the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. Given the greater schemes of things, this survey is an important exercise, implemented to achieve a maximum number of participation out of the 24,000 registered employees. This is to confirm their count, distribution, and experience on the effect of the COVID-19 in the workplaces and on their workers. This exercise will involve door-to-door survey of the workplace establishment from 13th May to 19th June 2020 with a geographical coverage of the Central, Western and Northern Division. Ladies and gentlemen, from a workplace perspective, this survey looks at the various means used to address the impact of COVID-19. This includes reduction of work hours, to leave without pay, to working from home, layoffs, reduced working hourly rates, as well as alternatives such as flexible hours, unpaid time off, paid time off, job sharing or job rotation, promote working from home or anywhere, help to set up home offices and ability to move to part-time for a period and then back to full-time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm outlining some of these in detail to highlight these provisions to those businesses who have not yet considered some of these provisions. My plea to all those employers is to keep your workers on the books and comply with the ERA, and consult your workers and the ministry before taking any extreme measures. The survey will also cover an important area that we often overlook in businesses, that is having a written business continuity plan, including for other disasters. Once again, it is important to highlight this because businesses to consider during this pandemic and once we move out of it. To all the employers and employees, I urge you to participate in this national survey exercise and look forward to your full engagement and support for this national workplace survey. Now it is my pleasure to launch the nationwide survey on the effect of COVID-19 in Fiji's workplace. Vinaka, and thank you.